Yo, what's shaking, AC?
Oh man, not much. I see you're in a different place today.
I am. I'm over at my sister's place. I'm sitting in my brother-in-law's office, and we're celebrating my nephew's first birthday. So I've got Baby Shark cranking in the room next door.
Awesome. So he's 1 year old, and are you a funkle?
I am a fun uncle, a funkle. That's me.
Yeah, that's that sounds like a joke you would say. So I had to throw that one at you.
Yeah, until
So,
until maybe she has another baby, and then you'll call me a dunkle, a double uncle,
uh, yeah, a double or defunkle.
the funkle.
Oh, brother. Okay, well, let's get rolling here so you can get back to your family. I think it would be timely for us to talk about trade shows today
hmm
because there's a lot of trade shows starting back up in-person trade shows, and it's been a long time, and there's a lot of people that really rely on trade shows to get franchise leads and reconnect with the franchise community. And it's actually something that I don't want to say that we're promoting or not promoting trade shows. There's a lot of, because when people don't get it right, they end up wasting a lot of money. So if anything, if you are going to do a trade show, this is the rant for you.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
So,
There's so many surprise costs that come up at trade shows, and there's so many people continue to do them. So you think to yourself, they must work, right? For some people.
right. Yeah. And I think it just what happens so much in franchising is, especially early stage franchisors, but I see this even with the established, is you look to what other people do because, like you say, like, well, that must be working because they do it. But sometimes people should be taking a step back and really assessing whether or not it makes sense. And I'm sure they do, but I think it would be nice and helpful for us if we were to share. We can talk a little bit about some of the things that we see as mistakes that people make that can help them optimize the trade show if they are going to use that approach. Again, I don't necessarily think it's the best approach for an emerging franchisor unless they've really, optimized their referral network and they're already doing good organic marketing and they're really, trying to look for customers. Ooh, I just bumped something, but I'm okay. No, I haven't been drinking, I promise. But I think, making sure they've done all these other things. I think trade shows can be a part of the mix, but I don't think they should be the go-to thing. But if they're going to do them, let's talk about it. So I'll kick it off with letting you share. What are one or two things that you see mistakes that people make? Because I know you and I have walked around trade shows together, and
Yeah.
we laugh at people secretly going, "Oh."
Well, I think you probably have more input on mistakes that people make because when you're at trade shows, you do more of the walking around, I think. When I'm at trade shows, I do more of the running of a booth because I'm part of the Fran Dev component of it. So for me, most of the mistakes that I see are within the booth. How you set up your booth. Does subconsciously do people not want to enter because you have some sort of barrier? Do you have chairs there and your staff is just sitting back seeming uninterested or slouching or rocking back and forth? Are you guys groomed? Have you shaved? Have you done your hair? Does it look like you were just drinking last night and your eyes are bloodshot? Have you put effort into the trade show booth, or is it just some sign willy-nilly that you pulled out of like crumpled up in your trunk that you just pulled up so people know what brand it is? There's like an art to designing a trade show booth, but also an art to operating one. I think about, how do people collect leads? They just sit there and hand out business cards, or do they have a written list, or do you have a computer? If you do have a computer, did you think about the speed of the Wi-Fi, or are they going to be like, I'm pressing enter and there's a lineup of leads behind me? How about you?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, on that, how would you recommend people do collect leads? Then it sounds like you might have an opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that the easiest way to collect an opinion, a lead right now, collect an opinion,
or an opinion. Yeah.
I would say by all means is a QR code on your cell phone. Have them scan some sort of QR code and it collects the lead. Okay. Paper is slow. The trade show convention centers have awful internet, awful, and it costs extra money. Handing them a business card and expecting them to follow up with you is not efficient. Just say, hey, do you want to get in touch? Here, scan this image or take a photo of this or whatever, and the QR code immediately registers them, because they're not even dependent on the internet, the Wi-Fi. They're dependent on their own cell network.
There you go. Okay.
I just thought of that. That was ad hoc idea.
Yeah, you just threw that one in. Bonus tip. Okay, so just to kind of summarize a couple of things that you said there, I think the biggest thing that is the least obvious that people don't pick up on is the, and especially with COVID right now and pandemic, but even without that, that's the physical space thing, in the booth. Like if you're standing at the front of your booth, that's okay, or the back of your booth, because the back of the booth and you're trying to like draw people in, as long as you can figure that out, which that's another kind of topic, or the front so you can greet people as they walk by. But when you're kind of halfway in, is that what you're saying? Like it's sort of a barrier then?
You know what?
Doesn't give them enough space.
When I was referring to barrier, I was thinking more about the setup of a table. Like does it seem like an interview table? But you raise another good point, is where is that person standing, right? If you're standing right at the edge of the booth, then your customer is standing in the walkway. You're not allowing them in. Maybe you're standing there and then you welcome them in. Hey, yes, come into my crib, come into my hood.
That's how I would personally recommend you do it. Is like, if you're standing way back there, you've got to be engaging with people up here. And then drawing. Now, okay, there's no table in the way, so I can back up and I'll be fine. So, okay, so those are some things within. And when you mentioned like being groomed, one of my biggest pet peeves, whether it's trade shows or anywhere in life, is bad breath. So it's the biggest turn off. So like, make sure you remember to brush your teeth, okay?
Yeah, and floss.
Right? Yes, floss. So mistakes I see. Different than those, I would, as obvious as it sounds, it's not properly following up with leads. Don't just try one time, or like you say, don't count on them to follow up with you. So you've got to get their information. Giveaways is interesting. If you're giving something pretty generic away, that's probably not going to have the impact. You've got to create a buzz. It really reminds me too of back in the days at M&M, we used to do like our big charity barbecue days, and it's all about creating a buzz, making people want to come and check out what you're doing. And then it's the person that is at the booth. Are they somebody who's comfortable and friendly, just talking to people? But who doesn't hate salespeople? Like I want them to reach out and go like, hey, just say something about the trade show rather than like trying to get them in right away. Like, hey, how's your day going? Have you seen any cool franchises yet today that you're looking at? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, what do you like about that? Now you're learning about them, but you're acting like it's more about just generic and about them. And then you slowly move the conversation into like whether or not it's something they want to explore. So I think that person at the booth is key. And I think it's not always, and this is something that actually came up on recent roundtable that you would have heard as well, it's the friend of person that's normally the phone call person might not be the stand in the booth person. Or you might have two people there, and you might have somebody that's more socially comfortable to draw them in and then pass them over to the one-on-one person. Yeah. That would be something that I would really watch out for.
Yeah. And you make a really good point about the actual person there, right? Like they need to be groomed, they need to have good breath, but they also need to have a personality, somebody who can draw them in. But I would almost go as far as like, even if somebody's got like RBF, I'm not going to say what that says, but like you can Google that, and they just look like they're just not interested naturally, that's going to be a turnoff from people going in. Like, that guy looks kind of mean. That woman looks like she's going to eat my soul, just because they look like that. Now, you know what I mean? Like, you're there to sell. You know what I'm talking about?
When I'm walking around a trade show and I literally do want to go see certain people and things, it's very like, you pretend you don't see people because you don't want to engage with them unless you choose to. So, but if you do it if people do it in a super friendly way, I'm game. I'll have a conversation as a participant, walking around. Sure. So, oh my gosh, there's like 300 more tips we could give, but I think we've got to wrap it up so you can go sing happy birthday to your nephew and be a Funko.
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do a part 2 of this sometime. Count it down.
3,
2,
1. One.
One.
Go be awesome.